Hey friends, welcome to Many Faces, Many Places. This is Roxy. How's everyone doing today? I'm just over here sipping on some cold iced tea. I've been doing this thing and I really like it where I get some tea bags. It could be black tea or green tea, or I've been using chai and corn tea that I got from the Korean market, which if you haven't tried, it's delicious. Corn tea or barley tea, it's like got this toasty taste to it. So what I do, instead of boiling the tea and then letting it cool, I skip that step completely and I just put it into I put the tea bags into a pitcher, just put regular room temp water, stick it in the fridge overnight, and then in the morning you got cold brewed iced tea. And I've been putting some fresh mint leaves in there also, which is just delicious and really cooling during the summer months. So give that a try. I've been really enjoying it. As you can see from the title, it's my birthday week. I'm not someone that likes to make a big deal out of birthdays or any celebration, but I figure we could do something a little differently, a little fun in celebration of my birthday week. So I figure I would answer 29 questions for my 29th birthday this year. Let's see how quickly we can get through this. I'll try to keep it under an hour because I know you guys all have places to be, people to do. Let's see if I can keep this under an hour. All right? Okay, so let's do some rapid fire questions. And these are in no particular order. Number 1, what makes you smile? I think anything with humor, it's pretty easy to make me smile. So if anyone's being funny or being sarcastic or just being humorous, then that's what is going to get me to smile. And I also like it when I see people being kind to others. If I just see someone extending a kind action or sentiment, then that makes me smile also. Number 2, what sport did you play in high school? Well, I played tennis in high school. I did a lot of dance as well. And then in college, I played some intramural softball and basketball. It was just like 1 or 2 games of each, only because my Christian fellowship InterVarsity needed an extra person, really. We were a small chapter, so we always had a hard time getting enough people, especially with enough girls. So I would step in sometimes just because of that reason. I also played some racquetball at the rec center, and something that I learned, but I haven't gotten back to, is hooping. It's called hoop art or hooping, like dance hoop, where it's like this big hula hoop and you learn these tricks and dance moves with it. So I did that for a little bit too, but I don't currently have a hoop right now. I got rid of my old one, so I haven't gotten back into that. Number 3, what is a skill you wish you had? Well, there's something that might be kind of silly, but I always wish that I was good at typography or calligraphy. You know, when people have really pretty handwriting, they can write on those chalkboards, like menu items for a cafe, or people that carry around little journals and do cute little calligraphy art or quotes or typography, which is just writing, not in cursive, but writing letters in a certain shape that it just looks like you typed it out and in an artistic manner. So I don't know why. I just thought that was really cool. And people who can do that well, I envied a little. So I guess that's one skill I wish I was good at. I mean, I've practiced here and there, watched some tutorials and tried, but never really stuck to it. I just don't have a good penmanship, I guess. My letters are all over the place. I will say I write cursive much better than my print, so I prefer to write in cursive, but typography and calligraphy is a complete different thing. It's not just writing in cursive. That would be nice if I was good at that. All right, number 4. What is a perfect date for you? Well, for me, I think I'm a pretty low maintenance girlfriend or wife. So anything that is spending quality time together, is like anything with nature, a nature activity would be great, like kayaking or hiking or trying a new experience that we haven't tried, like maybe archery or doing couples yoga. It would be ideal if it's something that we could include our dogs, like going to the dog park or taking them to the lake, and then ending the day with trying a new restaurant that we've never tried, because I love trying new food. And of course, ending it with boba at the end of the day. That would be a perfect date. Number 5, what makes you sad? Oh, Well, any type of animal suffering really makes me sad. If I hear or see any animals being neglected, this goes with pets or domesticated farm animals. It just thinking about that just always makes me really sad. Like I could see a piece of cheese or an egg and it'll bring tears to my eyes. Number 6, which celebrity would you meet? Oh gosh, I'm not a huge fan of any celebrity. Like I'm not keeping up with anyone. I don't follow any celebrities, but I do really admire this artist, Lana Del Rey. I don't know what I would say to her, to be honest, if I did have the chance to meet her, but I just feel like, I don't know, kind of absorbing some of her energy or her artistry would be pretty cool. Like I enjoy pretty much most of all her songs. I play on repeat. So I guess that would be someone if I had to choose a celebrity to meet. Number 7, what were your best and worst subjects in school? I think, or at least the ones I enjoyed the most, would be any art class, choir, photography, any extracurriculars I really excelled at, and I would enjoy those classes. My worst subject would be math and physics. I don't understand physics. Like, I know it's really important to understand physics, and you can do so much with it, with that knowledge. I just could not understand it. I took AP physics. I feel like most of the class I didn't really understand what was happening about the waves and movement and energy. It's not like I was that much better at chemistry either. I also didn't quite understand it, but I was forced to be used to it because I had to take chemistry, general chemistry, organic chemistry, biochemistry all throughout college and my master's. So I was kind of forced to have to learn chemistry, but I only had to take that one physics class. I'm sure if I took more physics, it might click more to me. And then math, the highest I ever got was pre-cal in high school and biostatistics in my master's. Statistics I also had to take in college. It's not too bad, but yeah, as far as high school goes, I could not get past pre-cal. And luckily I didn't have to, but if I had the option to take calculus or trigonometry, it just would have completely went over my head. Like I would hear my other classmates talking about trig and calculus class homework. And I'm just like, this is crazy, you guys. This is like a whole nother language. So I'm not that great at math. Number 8, what frustrates you? I think I tend to get frustrated at times when I feel like I'm being misunderstood. I think that's my biggest, not fear or biggest frustration in life is I don't want to be taken the wrong way. I don't want people to misunderstand me if I'm coming with something with good intentions, or if I said something in not the best way. I don't want people to make an impression or misunderstand me just based off of that one interaction. And I really just want people to see where my intentions are coming from and not dismiss me or judge me because of something that I did or said where it was really just because of a misunderstanding. So that tends to irk me a lot and that frustrates me a lot. And then I tend to over-explain myself afterward just to further prove like, no, this is what I meant. I didn't mean this. Can you see that this is what I'm trying to get at? So I think that is the thing that frustrates me the most. Number 9, what is something you are good at but don't like to do? Well, I feel like I've always been a pretty good writer or poet. Like any school assignments, I excelled at poetry. I could write a poem. If we were assigned the iambic pentameter, for example, I could write you a poem, but it's not something that I really enjoy, but I can do it. I can just piece together the words and the rhymes. And I took pre-AP English in high school, so we had to write an essay every single day about the book we were reading, The Crucible or Scarlet Letter or Great Gatsby. We had to learn how to write an essay every single day that we went to class. So that got me pretty good at writing on the fly and seeing a prompt and being able to write an essay immediately. Not that I enjoyed any of it, but I've always been pretty good about writing. I can write, it's not something that I want to do every day. Number 10, ooh, this is a good one. What is one bad habit that you have? It takes a lot to think about what your bad habits are. It's kind of hard to admit. Oh, I know. There's something that I don't know why it started happening more in the recent years where after a trip, after I go away traveling somewhere, it could be a short trip or a longer trip. Of course, the longer trips are worse because you pack more things. That when I come home, my luggage will sit there. I might open it, take a few things out, the essentials, but most of my luggage will just sit there in my closet for sometimes weeks. It could be days, it could be weeks, could it be months, maybe 2 months, where I don't have it completely put away. So that is, I think, one bad habit that I have. My husband's pretty good about reminding me, like, hey, what are you doing today? You got to finish putting your luggage away. So I do have a little bit of reminders from him. But other than that, yes, it could take me forever because I feel like coming down from the high of the trip and you're just so tired and it's good to be back home. So you start getting into your home life and your work life and your social life. And then the stuff that you use during your trip just kind of sits there. Of course, like dirty laundry and things like that, I get rid of right away. I clean it. But things that are just in my suitcase, I might not completely clear out until weeks later. If you're like me, you take your supplementation game seriously. Sapling makes plant-based vegan vitamins and supplements that I think you'll love. They even plant a tree for every bottle purchased. Almost 120,000 trees have been planted so far across 8 countries. Plus, Sapling is plastic negative certified and remove twice the amount of plastic from the environment as their product contributes. Use the link in this episode's show notes or the code MFMP for 10% off your order at takesapling.com. That's TAKESAPLING.com. Number 11, what types of music do you listen to? Oh gosh, I'm all over the place. I love all kinds of music, but I would say my favorites would be anything alternative, indie, dance pop, folk, old school hip hop and R&B definitely, old school rap, alternative rock, occasionally country, and instrumental music when I'm working or reading or relaxing. I do like to turn on some classical or some modern piano music. And then it's funny because my husband says that a lot of my music is depressing, like a lot of my indie folk, instrumental and alternative musics. I guess they could sound depressing. Yes, sure, why not? It sounds like Say Something by Great Big World and Christina Aguilera, things like that, that are really emotive and poignant and cathartic. Yes, I do like that kind of music as well. Not all the time, but I do have my moments where I just want to listen to some cathartic music. 12, what is your fitness philosophy? I think it changes throughout the years, honestly, depending on my life and where I am in life and what I'm going through. But for sure, weightlifting is king. Weightlifting number 1 all the way. A bit of cardio. I do also enjoy fitness classes, usually with a friend. Yoga. And I try to hike. I used to be pretty good about it, hiking once or twice a month, but lately it's kind of just whenever someone wants to hike. If someone wants to try a trail, then I join it, but I don't make an effort to go weekly or every other week anymore. I used to wish I was good at rock climbing because in the gym I went to, they had a rock wall and I did practice a few times, but I'm just not good at it. So I kind of just accepted the fact that I'm not good at rock climbing. I just have no grip. It's just my fingertips have no grip. So it's really difficult for me to rock climb. But when I get the opportunity, I do like to. And I love to swim. Love swimming. I feel like I could have been an aquatic animal in a past life or something. I just feel so at one with the water. Especially if I'm in the ocean, I just love that ocean water. But if you put me in a pool, it's like my happy place. So my fitness philosophy really is incorporating all the things that I enjoy. I don't think that working out should be super regimented and militant. It should be whatever you're enjoying and whatever movement allows you to feel free in your body and makes you feel the best. So it might be taking a Zumba class for me, or it might be taking a yoga class, or maybe doing yoga at the park. But for sure, I always incorporate weightlifting. Number 13, 3 words to describe your style. My style, I would say definitely colorful is one word. Second might be casual. And then a third word would be hipster. I feel like I try to dress more natural and minimalistic at times. There are at times where I'm not, where I pull out the whole shebang. I have accessories, I have a headband, I have earrings, I have a watch, I have an anklet. So at times I might not be minimalistic, but most of the days I tend to just throw on whatever is casual and looks presentable. But I do always try to match and coordinate. Like I'm not gonna wear, I don't know, green shoes with a pink shirt unless it works for that outfit. But I do try to always make sure that my shoes are matching what I'm wearing and that the colors don't clash. So that's something that I do try to always make sure of, even if I'm not going all out with fashion and planning outfits. But I do always make sure that I'm at least matching and it's not an awkward looking outfit. And then many times I'm actually in gym clothes or yoga clothes because it's just comfortable. And if I'm going to the gym, I might go to the store after, then you'll see me in my gym clothes. But yes, I would say hipster, casual, always colorful. People always tell me at work, like, you're blinding my eyes with your neon coral. So I do take pride in my colorful wardrobe. 14, what's always in your bag? If I am carrying a purse, I'd like to always include a snack, like a protein bar, just in case I get hungry, or some trail mix, some tissues, because I'm always blowing my nose. I suffer with allergies, and hand sanitizer. 15, what is your pet peeve? Oh, I have so many. I just get so irritated by so many things. No, but number one would be flaky people. I've learned that far too well the last few years, where people say they want to do something, so then you're the one that ends up making the plan because they don't. And I understand, like, nothing against them. I understand people have kids, people have things to do and obligations, or they just want to relax. But it just irks me so much when they say they want to do something and then they never plan it, and then you end up having to be the one that makes a plan, and then you invite them and then they flake last minute, or they keep canceling. So flaky people, that's just, don't flake. People just either don't commit or commit but follow through on your commitments. I don't know why it's so difficult. Number 16, what's one thing you can't live without? Well, obviously, I have to mention my husband. I can't leave that out. But other than that, other than what's obvious, what's one thing I can't live without would be my dogs or pets in general. Like if I didn't have my dogs, I would have something else. I would have a bunny, or I would have a turtle. But for sure, dogs, they just bring so much to my life. I just don't see me living any time in my life without a pet. Number 17, where else would you live if you could? Oh, well, I have thought about this plenty. I love where I live now, but if I got the opportunity to live in Australia, I would probably entertain that idea. Especially in like my college years, I was like actively looking for jobs in Australia and seeing how I can work over there. Of course, now it's not as likely because I really like where I am in life and where I work and where I live. And I like my life, but in another life or another time, probably I just would want to see how it is like to live in Australia. My mom lived there for a few months when she was young, and the things that she tells me just makes it sound great. And the people are really nice. She says that if you're taking a walk on a street, and for half a mile there's no one around, but there's like one person like hundreds of feet away from you, they're gonna wave and say hi to you. That's how friendly people are. And it's just like a really calm atmosphere and easy living. You have government benefits. Of course, I'm sure taxes are higher, but there's like the safety net. So you do have health benefits and all of that just for being a citizen of Australia, which is why I think some people do retire there. And then I've also entertained living in any Spanish country. I just feel like I don't know. I just feel like I really connect with the Spanish-speaking countries. So whether that's Spain or another country, but I just feel like I'm called to that, and maybe it's because I grew up in a predominantly Hispanic population, so I just naturally am used to hearing Spanish all around me and feeling like I want to connect and be involved in that community. So any Spanish country I might also entertain moving to. Okay, I gotta speed it up a bit here. Number 18, what do you spend the most money on? Good quality food. I cannot stress that enough. My mother taught me whatever you're gonna do, if you're gonna not be cheap on something, spend it on food, because you are what you eat. So whatever you do, don't cheap out on good quality food. So I don't mind spending a couple extra dollars on a higher quality produce or a higher quality food product. Of course, I look for deals often too, but food is something that I try not to negotiate with myself, and just don't worry about if I am spending money on good quality food. Number 19, what are you frugal on? Good follow-up question. I am a little cheap and frugal when it comes to buying clothes, jewelry, and shoes. I don't care about any brand names. It makes no difference to me if it's a brand name or a lesser famous brand. I honestly don't care. If it looks good and I like it, I like the style of the purse, then I will use it. I'm not someone who chases like a $50,000 purse. Like, that's just ridiculous to me, or even anything like over $100 for a purse. Like, I'm really, really frugal when it comes to anything attire. I think the most I ever spent on a pair of tennis shoes is like $80. Like, I won't go any more than that. I just don't see the point, honestly. And I can make my clothes and shoes last a long time. Like, I know people say like, well, if you buy cheap clothes, they don't last as long. I don't know how you're washing your clothes, but if you're washing your clothes on cold water, it should last you a long time. Like, I wear my shoes and my clothes for years. Like, I never have to replace anything really. So that's an area that I try to be more conservative with my spending on. Number 20, if you could have any other career, what would it be? Well, I talk about animals all the time, and people are always like, Roxy, why didn't you become a vet? Like, I feel like you should have been a vet, but I don't like to see animals suffering and in pain. I didn't want to make that my entire livelihood, so I never pursued that route. But if I did have to do anything than what I do now, I would definitely study something in ecology or wildlife conservation or marine biology. I just feel like it would be such a treat to be working around animals and wildlife conservation as a daily job. Number 21, what is the first thing you do in the morning? Well, lately, it's kind of sad, but lately we found out that our dog Tiki, our boy, has epilepsy. So lately, it's every single morning for the last year, I wake up and the first thing I do is I give Tiki his Keppra, his medication, his anti-seizure medication. So he has to be taking it every 8 hours. So pretty much round the clock, we're giving him medication 3 times a day. So there always has to be either me or my husband home at those 8-hour increments. So the morning, I always take care of that when I first wake up first thing in the morning. But by the way, update, it's been going great. He hasn't had a seizure in a long time, so the medication is working out great. So Tiki's doing good, in case you were wondering. Number 22, what is your go-to kitchen equipment? I think the equipment that I use the most would be just a saute pan for any stir fries, or if I want to sear something or heat something up, it would be just a good old saute pan. Or my Instapot, which I started using. I've had it for like maybe a year or 2. So the Instapot is also great. And I bought the one with the air fryer lid. I don't use it too often just because I don't air fry a lot of things, but the air fryer lid is a good option if you don't want to clutter and get a whole nother air fryer and an Instapot. That's what I use. But yes, I tend to use my saute pan for stir fries a lot. Number 23, what motivates you? I think I get my motivation and inspiration from other people. So the energy that exudes from other people, that's what tends to motivate me. So whether that's the guest that I'm interviewing or someone that's telling me about their hobby or something that they've learned. It just draws me in. And if someone's talking to me about playing guitar or singing, then it makes me want to go pick up my guitar and practice. And if someone's talking to me about painting or doing watercolor, then it makes me want to get behind an easel. So I think that I take a lot of inspiration and motivation from the energy that is put out by other people. 24, where is your next travel adventure? Ooh, yay, I like this question. I am planning to go to Australia next year in either like, well, at the time that I'm recording this, either like 6 months, about 6 or 8 months away. That's what I'm planning on. I don't know if you remember or if I mentioned it, that my Costa Rica trip last year, it was actually arranged because Australia was closed. So my volunteering organization was like, hey, Australia is still closed because of the pandemic. They were closed for like 2 years. Do you want to go somewhere else? So I ended up choosing to volunteer for Costa Rica instead. And I'm not happy about it at all. Like, Costa Rica was amazing. I would have gone there anyway on a separate trip. So I'm glad I was able to do that and not cancel the whole trip completely. And then now they reach out to me like, hey, Australia's open. Do you still want to volunteer at the Wildlife Center? And I'm like, hell yeah, sign me up. I've been waiting for this for over 2 years. So that's where my next adventure will be. It's going to be close to Sydney. It's called Calga, is where the volunteer center is at. I will make sure to update you guys on how all of that goes and how my volunteering goes the second time around. Okay, number 25. Do you have a nickname? Yes, I do, since birth, pretty much. It's Dodo. It's spelled D-O-U, D-O-U, and that's pinyin, which is like the alphabet in Chinese, in Mandarin, so it's pronounced Dodo, and it means bean, like it means beans or peas. That's what do means, like a bean or a pea. The reason is because when I was born, my zodiac sign is the rooster, and my family was like, oh, let's name her Dodo because it means that she'll never go hungry because chickens eat peas and beans and stuff. So they named me Dodo so that I'll always eat well. and do I ever, okay, I've never gone hungry in my life. Do I ever eat so well? So that is my nickname that my family calls me, and they still call me that to this day, and I love it. All right, we are almost to the end. Number 26, who is someone you would pick to live a day in their life? Oh, that's another hard one. It's kind of like that celebrity one. I don't really know how to answer this because there's not many people that I follow or admire as celebrities. Oh, I know. Okay, so there's this lady. Her name is Ocean Ramsey. And I found out about her because I watched her documentary called Saving Jaws is it on Hulu? I think it's on Hulu. So make sure you look that up. It's like a 45-minute documentary, not too long, but she is a conservationist and marine biologist. And she either used to be or also currently is a model, and she free dives with sharks. Yes, isn't that crazy? And I think the film was filmed in Hawaii. I think that's where she lives. So she surfs and she free dives and she scuba dives with sharks. I think that's just amazing. And she does it not just for fun, but she researches them and studies them and tries to conserve the shark population. So if you watch Saving Jaws, it'll explain everything. If you're wondering, like, why are we saving sharks again? Because they're super important for the environment and for the ecosystem of the ocean. There's so much shark hunting and fishing going on around the world for either shark fin soup or for shark fin supplements or goods that it's ridiculous. Like, I don't remember the stats specifically, but humans hunt like 50 million or something sharks a year. So we slaughter these sharks to make human goods out of, and sharks only attack maybe like 5 or 6 people a year, and that they're usually like provoked attacks. So if you watch that movie, it'll give you the accurate statistics, but it was just enlightening to see that we should not be afraid of sharks. They should be afraid of us because of how massive of amounts of sharks we kill every year. So she's super passionate. That's her life's work, is studying sharks. And she's also called like the shark whisperer, but she's really trying to whisper to humans and people to understand that sharks are not bad and they're crucial for the health of the oceans, and that we should stop hunting sharks and putting this horrified view on sharks in general as a species. And I think I read something after about the creator of the original horror movies Jaws, that he regretted kind of making such a big deal about it because now people are scared of sharks and don't care to protect them. And I think he regretted it, and now he like supports shark conservation or something. Don't quote me on that, but I think I read something about that now he like tries to help and advocate for the population of sharks around the world. So anyway, this lady, Ocean Ramsey, is just, like, I feel like she has like a surreal life. She travels around the world and free dives with sharks, and they do not bite her. She's never had an attack. And she also shares some tips for if you do encounter a shark when you're snorkeling or swimming in the ocean, what to do and what not to do. So I would definitely try to, if I could pick a day to switch lives with someone, I would try to see what her life is like in a day. And I just feel like I would love to experience diving with these massive and beautiful animals. Number 27, what is one of your most liked places that you've visited? Oh, I loved Thailand. I went when I was very little. I was like 7 or 8 years old when I went to Malaysia, Thailand, and Singapore on one trip with my grandparents that they took me on. It was right before I came to America. It was kind of like my goodbye trip of family vacation before I immigrated to America. So Thailand, Singapore, and Malaysia are right next to each other. It's like in a triangle. And my favorite was Thailand. Well, I enjoyed all three of them. I feel like it was all kind of a blur to me because I was like 8 years old and I don't remember exactly which days we were in which country. But Thailand stuck out to me a lot. And it's funny because I'm kind of tan. I'm pretty dark skinned for an Asian woman, but I fit right in Thailand. Like I looked like one of the locals, and they would call me as like one of the local girls. Basically, they would call me that. And the tour guides and everything, I made friends with them, and they're super kind and very nice with me, so it felt like they just took me right in. So I just felt like that energy I got, and it's probably because I was a little kid, like they were super nice to me, but I always felt like as an adult I must go back to Thailand and experience it again. I haven't been since I've been an adult, and I hear that it's super saturated and crowded and lots of tourists everywhere now. So if I ever do go, which I will, I would have to just plan around maybe avoiding like the super popular beaches and trying to go on some more private coves or activities. And I also want to eventually volunteer for an animal sanctuary if I do go to Thailand. So when I get the opportunity to do that, I will definitely take it. Number 28, what is your decor style? Oh, I like this question too. This is something I've thought about ever since like college years when we got our apartment. I've always really liked the nautical theme, like the navigation control of the ships and buoys and anchors. I just love filling my home with coastal, nautical, and beachy items and decor. I also try to keep it minimalistic, so I'm not like, I wouldn't say that I'm a minimalist, but I try to be. And if you haven't watched the documentary Minimalism on Netflix, I highly recommend it. I truly recommend it for everyone, just to at least take some tips from there. So sometimes people, like my family, come to our home and they say like, wow, you and your husband you guys are minimalist. And I'm like, really? Thank you. I didn't know, but I'm glad you noticed. I'm glad that you think we're minimalist. I think my husband definitely is a minimalist. I'm not a maximalist either. Oh gosh, that would just drive me insane if I was a maximalist. I feel like I would just have stuff all over the place like a hoarder. I'm not about that. I prefer keeping my home minimalist as possible and only bringing in things that will add to the aesthetic. Like if it's a beachy theme, if it's coastal looking, if it's a nautical piece, if it's whales or coral or a boat or So those are the pieces that I like, and I like things that are really bright and pastel colors and lighter tones for the home. Last one. Thank you for sticking with me so far. Number 29. Which quote inspires you? I have so many quotes that I enjoy. Like on the MFMP pod Pinterest page, there's actually a folder, like an album for just quotes that either came out of the show or other quotes that I enjoy and inspire me in life. You can feel free to check that out. But my favorite quote of all time is from Charlotte Bronte. She is one of the 3 Bronte sisters. She's the one that wrote Jane Eyre and Villette and Shirley. So I always think of her quote, I try to avoid looking forward or backward and try to keep looking upward. I just think that quote says it all. And it should be a good philosophy for anyone to look to. Just something about it is just like you're transcending looking at the future or the past, but looking upward, like above it all and beyond it all, kind of in a transcendent and all-inclusive way, like an overarching look at your life and not either looking back or looking forward. So take that quote how you want to, but that quote has just always stuck with me the most. Woo! We made it! 29 questions, guys. That was a lot. So if you made it this far, thank you so much for listening. And I hope you had fun listening to me answering these 29 questions for my 29th birthday week. If you'd like me to go into further discussion of any of the above questions, or if you have your own questions to ask me in a future episode, make sure you follow me on Instagram at MFMP pod or my Patreon, which is patreon.com/MFMP, as I will be posting prompts periodically for taking questions or requests. So make sure you're followed so that you can be the first to comment when you have your own question to ask me. I would love to answer anything. All right, guys, talk to you soon. I hope you enjoyed this episode. For ways to support the podcast, please tap on the bio link in my Instagram page at MFMPpod. Consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/MFMP. In addition to helping me keep the show on air, you'll also receive access to exclusive content and other patron-only perks. Till next time.